everybody. Only 4 weeks until we go back to meeting in person. And for those 4 weeks, we're going to be going right back to the beginning of the Bible, to the Old Testament. And we're going to be looking at the Judges. Now, in the book of Judges in the Old Testament, there's a kind of a never-ending story that seems to happen. And that is that the Israelites, God's people, keep turning away from God, making mistakes, worshipping false gods. Then they get attacked by someone and they go, "Help, God save us!" And God raises up a special person that the Bible calls a judge. So if you've got a picture in your head of a judge as someone with a funny wig and a hammer that goes, "Guilty, not guilty," take that picture out. In the Bible, the judges are people that God raises up to save his people, the Israelites, when they're being attacked and in danger. So today we're going to be looking at Gideon. Now, Gideon was an Israelite, and what was happening to the Israelites is that they had turned away from God again, and they decided to worship a false god. Now, one of them was called Baal or Baal, and basically it was a bull that they made a gold statue out of, and they decided to worship him. How silly. But that's what they did. And God wasn't very pleased about that. And because of that, he allowed an army of people called the Midianites who lived nearby to attack them. So what the Midianites used to do is they used to come along to the Israelites where they were living. They used to steal their stuff. They used to eat all their crops. They used to wreck everything. And the Israelites were so frightened of them, they used to hide in caves and run away when they came. Have you ever played hide and seek? Well, they were really scared. They would have to hide as soon as they heard those Midianite people coming. And they cried out to God and said, "God, help us. This is awful. It keeps happening and we're scared." And God heard their prayer. And this is where Gideon comes into our story. So Gideon was nobody special. He was probably the youngest in his family. His family were weaker and poorer than some of the other families of the Israelites. But God chose him to save his people. One day, Gideon was working in the fields when all of a sudden, by a tree, there appeared an angel of the Lord who called Gideon over to him. He said to Gideon, "The Lord is with you, mighty warrior." "But sir," Gideon said, "if that's the case, how come all these awful things keep happening to us? I think God's abandoned us." The angel said to him, "Go in the strength you have and save Israel. Am I not sending you?" Gideon said, "How can I save Israel? My clan or my family is the weakest, and I'm the least important in the family." But God said, "I will be with you, and you will strike down all the Midianites together." How amazing. I bet that Gideon was quite scared. Now, when I told the story, I used this little angel, but actually we don't know what the angel of the Lord looked like in the Bible story. It doesn't tell us. It just says it's the angel of the Lord. And I'm not sure Gideon was sure straight away. Gideon wanted lots of signs. He wanted proof that God would help him. He didn't want to do it on his own. He was really scared. So he asked God for lots of different signs, and God answered them, and he did show him signs, and he still wasn't sure. So he needed to learn to trust God. One of the signs that Gideon asked for, and you'll see on the video link, is that he said, "Right, God, if you'll really help me destroy the Israelites, then I want you to give me a sign so that I'm sure. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a sheep's fleece that's been shorn off, and I'm going to put it on the ground outside before I go to bed. And then when I wake up in the morning, if the fleece is really wringing wet with dew, but the whole ground is dry, then I'll know." And God answered his prayer. Gideon got up and he saw that the fleece was wringing wet. It was so wet that he wrung the water out of it and it dripped into a bowl, but the ground was dry. But Gideon still wasn't convinced. He said, oh, okay, God, but I want more proof. So this time I'm going to put the fleece out on the ground, and this time I want the fleece to stay dry, completely bone dry, and I want the ground to be wringing wet with dew. So he went to bed and he got up, and the next morning that happened as well. So God showed him. So Gideon did argue a bit with God, and he didn't really trust what God said. But God said to him, "I am with you." And God is always with us. And sometimes we have jobs like Paul Gideon. I mean, how on earth was he going to destroy a whole army of people? And we'll find that out next week, how God helps him to do that. But he needed to trust God, didn't he? Because when we trust God, he can give us a strength to do all sorts of things that we didn't think we could do. But we mustn't try and do it in our own strength. We need to make sure that we ask God for his strength to do it in. Now, attached to this email is a family worksheet with lots of activities to do. You could play hide and seek. You could also make a family crest. Now, does anyone know what one of those are? Family crests you could have on you may have seen them on a shield, or if you Google them, you'll be able to read all about them. So it's something that you can draw and design that could go on a shield, and it's supposed to be like a symbol of your family. So all of our families are different, aren't they? We all have different sorts of families, and we all are unique and special, and so have a little chat together with your family and think, if you were drawing a family crest and you were going to put it on a shield, what would you put on it? Now, I think for our family crest, there would probably have to be a football on there somewhere, because one of us likes football, and maybe food, particularly cake, because one of us likes cake, and maybe some kind of wrestling as well thing, or I don't know, there's lots of different things that we could put on our family crest, but have a chat and think about what you could put on your family crest. And then there's lots of other activities on the sheet that you could do with your family. And have a go at this creative prayer activity that I'm going to do next. So if you look at your sheet you've printed out, there is a bit of a challenge there for a God scavenger, the name of God scavenger prayer activity that you can do around your house. So what you have to do is you have to find the object and then complete the prayer challenge. So Gideon, if you read the Judges 6, you'll see that Gideon named the place that God spoke to him Jehovah Shalom, which means the Lord is peace. And there are lots of different names given to God throughout the Bible to describe what he is like. So let's have a go. So the first one we could look at, the first name is Jehovah Jireh, which means the Lord provides. So you've got 30 seconds to go and find something to eat, okay? And then you've got 30 seconds to thank God for as many things as you can think of that he provides. So the food challenge, I found the staff treat tin that's got biscuits and a few leftover Easter eggs in. So I can thank God for that. The next name of God is Jehovah Rapha, which means the Lord heals. So your challenge is to find something that you can use for first aid. 30 seconds. I found this Play Doctor's Kit, which has got bandages and various things in it. And then you can pray with your family for anyone you know that needs healing today. The next name is Jehovah Nissi or Nissi. The Lord is our banner. So you've got to find something that you can wave like a flag. Now, I couldn't find a flag, but I did find this in our music cupboard. So I could wave this instead. And you need to take it in turns to pray and wave your banner and shout a thank you prayer to God. The last challenge, a bit trickier, is you've got 30 seconds looking at the name Jehovah Shalom, which means the Lord is peace. And peace is often in the Bible is symbolised by a dove, which is a white bird. So can you find a bird in your home? It could be a real bird, it could be a picture, a toy or an image or a piece of clothing. Now, I couldn't find, I'm in the office today and I couldn't find any birds, but I did find a painting that's got a picture of a dove on it, which is quite handy, so I shall show it to you. So there you go, that's the dove I've found. See if you can find one. So once you've found your bird, you need to pray and ask God to fill you with his peace, and maybe spend some time quietly just lying down and listening to see if you can hear God talking to you with your family. Give it a go. Have a great week, and like I said, only 4 weeks till we see each other again properly. Until then, have a great time at school and a good weekend. Enjoy your bank holiday, and I'll see you next time. Bye.